Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today is another day of the Zero to Gold Cap Challenge. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so for today we have been farming up 4 hours worth of the Sunwell Plateau. Now this was to double check that if it was actually worth it on basically my server, and yeah. It has been a bit of an interesting one. Now, there hasn't been many awesome transmog item drops as there once was. A lot of them have mellowed out to very low in gold rate, but that mainly because I am on a high pop RP server, which means that most transmog is going to plummet in price. Now, aside from that, we did, however, get a hold of a hell of a lot of netherweave cloth, has equaled to 2,426 netherweave cloth. That is pretty damn awesome, and I'm thoroughly happy with all that. But aside from that, that doesn't sell all that much because it's 65 silver for one of this. Now, the things of note that you can actually get a hold of are basically the gems, and these are the BC regular gems that you get along with this. So what you've got is I have 61 Shadow Song Amethyst, 63 Pyre Stone, the Lion's Eye, which is 55, 48 Empyrean Sapphire, the Sea Spray Emerald, 49, Crimson Spinel, 54, and 264 marks of the Illidari. Now, the main thing that you go in for Sunwell is for the high tier recipes. Now, this is because you get so many trash in the beginning of the Sunwell, and don't worry, we will be doing a walkthrough on how you actually do it as well. But aside from that, the only thing that actually was which was actually a very good one, was only one recipe out of the 4 hours. Now, obviously, we got a load more of these, but we actually do have the schematic for the Annihilator Hologogs, which is an engineering recipe. It currently is going to sell on my auction house on a min buyout for 10,372 gold, or a market value of 10,520 gold. Or, however, the region market value average of 11,576 gold. So that's actually pretty steady over the board of what it's actually going to be selling for. Now, obviously, we could take into the region's sell average, but to be honest, on my realm, I'm probably going to sell it for around about 8,000 gold, give or take. Like 1,000 gold either side. Now, aside from that, the other things of note that we actually got is the Sunblessed Breastplate. That's 2,000. We got 2 of those recipes for the Sunblessed Breastplate. We also have the Carapace of Sun and Shadow, which is chest piece, 720 gold. This one actually has a region market value average of 8,000 gold. So this may be worth it if you are on a medium end server for doing this type of farm, due to the fact that the region market value average overall is around about 6,000 gold for that one, 8,000 for that one, 10,000 for this one, which is the Amulet of Flowing Life, the 9,000 on this one. So really, what I'm trying to say is, looking at the overview of what the actual Sunwell has actually been like, it's actually more beneficial if you do it on a non-high pop server. This is because the things will tend to sell for a higher amount. Granted, this does take a little bit longer in order to sell, but at the end of the day, you have to treat these types of recipes such as you would with transmog. Now, this gives you quite a hell of a lot of recipes throughout your runs, and if they can sell for a genuinely good amount of gold, judging by what that actually is, then I would highly recommend doing it on a low, medium, or just above medium server. So things like Argent Dawn and Terran Mill, I wouldn't recommend farming this on. This is the EU servers, because I know about the EU servers, but the US ones I'm not too sure on. May have to get clued up on all of that. But aside from that, medium end and lower end servers. So that being the case, let's jump into the Sunwell Plateau and show you how we do this run. Now, bearing in mind, I am super happy with the gold for the actual day in a bit once we finish this run, because it's going to be a good one this week, because, well, today, this is going to be absolutely awesome, and I reckon yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm really happy with the way things are going. So we're in the Sunwell Plateau now. What we wanted to do is 2 pulls. And this is because I've noticed if I'm running this and then I try and pull everything, these ones we're gathering up right now will lose aggro and go back to normal, and you'd have to double back to actually collect them up again. You don't really want to do that. You want to be able to kill as many mobs without having to double back and waste a lot of time. So what I'm doing here is I position myself around about in this area here, and I just start killing all of these mobs. I've kind of got it into like a little bit of a fluid movement, as you would with this. But at the end of the day, this is pretty darn easy. You just gather them up and burn them down, and just gather up as many as you can. So that being the case, we're just going to kill all of these guys, just pull those in, and yeah, we're just going to finish up all of this. Make sure that we've actually looted all of these, and then we can have a look at what we've actually got. Let's move this pattern over here so it doesn't actually get entangled. And let's pull up our loot appraiser just to destroy some of these greys, giving us a little bit more room. Now, with these transmog items, they don't sell for an awful lot. To be honest, I tend to vendor all of this. And in the 4 runs, we've managed to get around about 4,500 gold worth of just vendoring all of the green items. To be honest, I'm okay with that. You could, however, disenchant them, but I can't be bothered to actually do that. I'd rather be honest than lie. But you are more than welcome to disenchant all those items if you have a bit more time on your hands. Other than that, that is basically what I got for the 4 hours. So roughly around about 1,000 gold an hour in just vendoring all of that stuff. So not too really that bad, especially for a high value recipe farm. Now, obviously, granted, they do take a long time to sell, and they are quite hard to drop. But the thing is with BC dungeons is that they have a chance of dropping like the Fellsteel Longblade and all that stuff, which are super high value recipes, which are definitely worth your time. Now, as we're coming over to this part here, as we're running through, we're just going to gather up this last pack of mobs, which is really easy. And all I can do is I can either soothe them and then just position myself there, but most of these guys is casters. So what I do here is I put myself around about the lip part here, and then that makes all of the warlocks come towards me, so I can then kill them all in one massive group, which then once I've gathered all of my stuff up, I can then just go ahead and do that. And once that's done, that is all of the mobs done. Now, obviously you can see the first boss there, that is Caligos, and yeah, that's basically the run. All you have to do is then use your Dream Walk ability, or you can just run back out the way you came if you don't have a reset ability in order to get outside of the dungeon and get back in again. But aside from that, not overly too bad. So let's just reset the instance, blah, 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 and then we can then press Dream Walk, and it will take us all the way back to the Isle of Quel'Donas, just outside the dungeon. This is actually 1 minute less. This actually saves me 1 minute on actually running in and out of the instance the regular way. So a 1 minute saved on 10 runs, that's 10 minutes saved for doing the Dreamwalk ability on my druid, and then I can put that into something else. But aside from that, I am just vendoring all of these greens. I know it could be painful for you, some of you guys, to watch, but I'm just going to vendor them regardless because I don't, quite frankly, want them. And I can't be bothered to actually disenchant those at 4 gold for the enchanting materials at 4 gold. But aside from that, let's just send all of this over to our banker, which is Giblet, and we'll just send over all of this stuff right now. Now, bearing in mind that when it comes to all of this, this is definitely a high value recipe farm, more or less than a high value transmog farm. It used to be, but seeing as the times have gone on, it's actually become more and more a recipe farm than you would have if it was a transmog farm when it used to be a transmog farm. And to be honest, I kind of like it as a high value recipe farm because then it gives you a bit of a variety of things that you want to farm. Do you want to farm recipes or do you want to farm transmog? And Sunwell is definitely one for recipes if you really want to take the chance. Now, if you're on a higher pop server, as I stated earlier, that it's probably not that worth it. You can make some decent amount of gold with this. It's just going to take some RNG's luck to actually profit from this, because in 4 hours we got around about 22,000 gold worth of stuff, and that is not good by any variable going forward. I personally think that I should have put my time into material farming, because 4 hours of material farming would have equaled around about 70 odd thousand gold, even if I did like a Jara's Veil or something. But aside from that, guys, let's just get into the gold for the day. Okay, so let's go into the gold for the day, which is a healthy 148,412 gold. Obviously, we had a few lull days because of the transitional period between transmog and gathering materials, instead of just flat crafting and selling and all that jazz. Obviously, we covered how to make gold with that, but my primarily favorite method is by doing this, which is a mixture of transmog and gathering farms, which, however, one of these items of note is something that we made a couple of months back. Now, this is something that I want to go over in a minute, but let's just go into the first things, which is the Robes of Insight, which we got from our Zul'Farrak run. We didn't sell it for 37,000, we actually managed to sell it for 19,951 gold, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty darn chuffed with that, because that's 20,000 gold we did not have. And aside from that, we actually managed to sell the depleted Kyperian rocket for 77,900 gold. Pretty damn happy on that. It's taken quite a while for it to sell, but I'm very happy that we have actually managed to sell that for 77,000 gold. Really chuffed with that. The other thing of note is the Glyph of Felt Imp, which is 2 of those for 1,806 gold. Volatile Life, however, for our Whiptail farm last week, that is 606 of those for 13,688 gold, along with Cinderbloom, 192 of those, which we got along with our Alden farm, 192 of those for 2,565 gold. The other things of note are Sallow Pigments, 28 of those for 2,074 gold, and 49 Greater Flasks of Vast Horizon for 13,968 gold. By the way, all of the Greater Flasks, I don't know about you guys, but on my realm, it's like plummeted in price due to the fact of like everything just being reduced in cost. But aside from that, the last thing of note is Sallow Pigment once again, 122 of that for 9,040 gold, bringing our total up to 148,412 gold. So let's just pull all this in. I'm very chuffed with the way things are going thus far. We've managed to sell that depleted Kyperian rocket, so we've got our return on it. It's just a case of making sure that we keep it and all that jazz. So our running total at this moment in time after today is 896,259 gold. I do intend to hit 1 million gold by the end of the week, and that is definitely a value guarantee. But yeah, pretty much. Other than that, guys, I'm going to get back to farming, because we are definitely hitting that 100,000, well, that 1 million gold this week, and then we're going to just skyrocket it, because I like getting into my basic methods because they work. Other than that, guys, have an awesome rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow.